Every conspiracy theory is absolutely correct.
To be honest with you, part of me has been wondering when I should ask you to apologise to Red Bull, Ev.
He could have said,
These are my options.
no
Yeah.
fucking way
Yeah.
I'm going to take a year off.
I'm sure there was some lip reading.
and come back.
Would you want to be Max Verstappen?
I don't want to be a virgin.
Here's the idiots. Did you guys picture Jack Nicholson with his head through a door just then?
I did. That's
Oh, you
exactly
did?
what I pictured.
Yeah.
Yeah, with glasses on and a hoodie.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm more thinking in terms of my acting capabilities, but yeah, obviously I've got some work to do there. And speaking of work, because it is a job, we're here again, marking our return for another episode of Idiots of F1. I'm Ollie, your host of this handy pocket guide to all things F1, and with my trusty counterparts, Ev and Digz, we're here again to try, most importantly, cast our obnoxious opinions and thoughts on all the on and off track events and drama from one of the world's most entertaining sports, the Formula 1. And being quite a few episodes in now, with an adoring and committed community of followers, I thought it might be good to start the episode off a little bit differently and give our listeners a little bit more insight into you two fools. Look at your faces. I can't actually see Ez. He's kind of hiding, but yeah, I sense a little bit of nervousness there. Relax, I'm not out to get you.
What do we have to tell them?
Yeah, but on the basis that there are many coming back and perhaps many new, they're all probably sitting there and going, I don't really know these guys. So I've got a couple of questions to break the ice for you both. Are you ready? I'm literally just going to crack in.
Let's do it.
Question one, and I'm going to ask both of you, and again, don't overthink it, just anything that comes to mind. If you could be someone else for the day, who would it be and why?
Digby.
Yeah, that's not your buzzer.
No. I want to know what it feels like to be able to reach the higher, shelves in my cupboards.
And to be discriminated against as a minority.
That's right.
Yeah. All right, that's actually a very good answer. And in fact, I actually kind of agree with you. I'd love to know what it's like to tour and just have people kind of screaming at your name when you throw out blow-up dolls and sing Queen.
Given I know
For the sex, not the money.
This is going to sound super cliche because it's an F1 podcast, but since diving into this F1 stuff this year, I'm really fascinated to know what it would be like to be one of them for a day.
Yeah,
because
on a race day.
A race. Let's go. Yeah, maybe the Thursday, when you travel to the excitement.
Oh yeah, in your private jet.
I'm not comparing what I do to them, but there's a similarity to a show day where you go and you've got all this prep you've got to do. Then you go on stage and you've really actually got to consciously take it in, because if you don't, you'd forget it all because you're concentrating so hard on doing everything right. And I imagine when they're driving, you're concentrating so hard on the race, it's just a big blur.
Oh, yeah.
So someone like Daniel or Lewis, I really understand why they really love to engage with their fans. I know that Daniel probably does it a bit more organically, but that to them is probably what gives them the joy of racing, and everything else must just feel
You reckon they're not just fucking sick of the fans? But okay, there you go. That was quite cliche and almost like an essay, but I appreciate the ability to stay on.
Would you want to be Max Verstappen and wake up in the morning?
I don't want to be a virgin.
Feeling like, I'm so glad I didn't get laid last night.
Do you reckon Max now walks around the paddock
so much energy this morning
with that number one and number one virgin? They all high five as he walks past.
You guys, I was joking.
I feel really sorry for the people that thought he was being serious in that interview. Anyways, let's not get derailed too quickly. Next question. If you could only keep one, what of your 5 senses would you keep and why?
Oh, I have thought about this.
Have you?
Because I often do the would you rather be blind or deaf?
Oh,
and
yeah.
And I think I'd rather be
Depends
be
if
blind.
you're talking, mate.
Let's ask Nat.
but it's hard because I love eating. But I think I would prefer. Jeez. I think
you got one.
Listen to music. So I want my ears.
So you want your hearing.
Yeah, I'd probably
I
be
agree.
the same.
I think music's probably the most important thing. But actually, I thought about it when I was writing down these to ask you guys. If you were propositioned that later on in life, when you had all of your senses, then I think I would go with hearing. But I think if it was one of those things where you were from day one born, I think I would want sight. I'd hate to not know what the world looks like.
True, but I know that there are some people who have never been able to see well. A lot of them don't want to have ruin their imagination, kind of like when you're reading a book and you're like, I don't want to see the movie because it will ruin what I imagine it will look. It must be mental because you have no idea what anything looks like, ever.
If you watch the Hobbit trilogy before reading the book, that'd be so bad.
All right. Very good. Okay, next one. If there were 2 hours left in the world, say before an asteroid crashed into it, what would you do with your time?
I'd probably play my guitar and have sex and go for a swim in the ocean.
Things. You'd have your amp on the roof.
Yeah.
Oh yes, I love it.
Just playing the Top Gun anthem over and over.
Yeah, it would be totally you. Yeah. Ev, what would you do, bud? You'd cook up one of your delicious meals, wouldn't you?
No. It takes longer than 2 hours to do one of my meals.
So a last meal would be good, actually. Just having a really nice roast meal with the family or something, I don't know. Yeah.
If I'm home with everybody, like you can't go anywhere.
True.
Probably just cook something and just gather
masturbate.
Around and,
furiously.
I'd have a 1 hour, 59-minute wank. And then as the asteroid struck, I'd climax.
Okay, all right. Let's.
There you go. And it would force the asteroid like
You'd
back.
catch it in your web of spunk.
Oh God, this got out. When I wrote this, when I wrote that, I thought, "Fuck, what a depressing question." But look at where we've taken that. Just a massive spunk.
I was gonna say,
I'd get on the space shuttle. I'd land on the asteroid. I'd push Digby back in the elevator. And I'd say, do this for now.
I'd be crying.
He'd be banging on the elevator to like, don't do it, Ev. And then I'd strip out of my spacesuit and just start.
You are literally John Belushi sitting on a fucking nuclear warhead, like riding it.
I was going to say, this quiz is not really going to get people to know me, but I feel like now we've got to that question, people know us a lot more.
Well, here you go.
Too much.
Double the chance to get to know you, and I'm a bit worried about where this will go based on where Ev just took that. But if you had a clone, what would you have your clone do? Last question.
All my hard work that I don't want to do.
The editing for the podcast.
Or like I'd test the waters. Like let's say it's like, oh look, I want to do this. I want to do this sales pitch.
Or he'd be your mind canary, would he?
And I'd be like, could you go say what I'm telling you to say, so I don't have to feel the shame if I get like knocked back or like the negotiation is a big.
You go ask Nat out.
Yeah. You go tell.
This is Michael Keaton in Multiplicity. Yeah, the clone does all the shit you don't want to do, while Michael Keaton is just
I love that movie.
out.
I've forgotten all about that movie.
Yeah.
Ev, what would you do with your clone?
What would I do with my clone? I think I'd hunt him.
Oh wow,
that's
wow.
Imagine like. Because it's not murder if you're killing yourself.
Oh dear. I'm going to summarize. So I went into this thinking that we'd just be able to reveal a little bit about you two, and now I fear that everyone's thinking that you're some fucking madman sex maniac, Ev, who will hunt down clones while masturbating furiously.
Yeah. I would live out my Blade Runner fantasies.
All right. There you go. Peeling back some layers of onions that are Digby and Ev in that one. I'm a bit nervous about how that's all gone, but whilst you all unpack what the fuck you just heard, let me distract you with a quick overview of today's episode. As usual, being the week between a bookend of racing, we've got all our thoughts and comments on the weekend's Dutch GP. We've got a preview of all things Monza coming up tomorrow, as well as the highly anticipated Haas you've been paying attention, what's Verstappening, and excitingly, gents, for the first time in a while, Twat of the week.
Yes, it is. I hope you've got what I think that you've.
I don't know. Because
I have a couple to add.
Well, good. I always like it when we can throw in a few more. But on that basis, are we ready to rock and roll, gents?
Yeah.
Let's get up to speed with everything that happened on the weekend in round 16, the Dutch GP. Starting from the top, championship leader Max Verstappen held on to victory in what's been described as a pretty captivating 2022 Dutch Grand Prix, amid a strong showing from Mercedes and late safety car drama at Zandvoort, which, whilst we'll get into it in a moment, certainly has a lot of tinfoil hat fans jumping up and about. But in quickly rounding out the Flying Dutchman, Verstappen's relentless march to a second successful World Championship gathered even more pace on home soil, to the delight of, I think it was over 100,000 people at Zandvoort, which is not actually that much compared to the other races. However, it was still a very packed crowd.
Small circuit.
Yeah. And with his 10th win in 15 races this season, Max is now 109 points clear of Ferrari's Charles Leclerc and his teammate Sergio Perez. They're both equal. And if results go his way, the Red Bull driver could wrap up his title defense come the end of the Japanese Grand Prix in just a month's time, which is quite scary. But before we get on to the rest of the podium, boys, let's quickly talk hypotheticals and address the conspiracy theorists out there in F1's Twitter sphere. So for those who missed the race, there was a genuine belief for much of the final third of the race that Mercedes were on track for their first win of the year with Lewis Hamilton before a Red Bull angel in the form of an AlphaTauri car arrived, all but forcing an interruption to the race and what was unfolding, ultimately giving Max the edge and all the luck in the world to take the win from the grasping and, I want to say, desperate fingers of Lewis Hamilton. So let me just quickly unpack the situation as simply and as quickly as possible. In a fucking weird set of circumstances following a pit stop, Yuki pulled over on lap 44, complaining that his tyres weren't fitted properly. As pit lane went into panic mode in anticipation of a virtual safety car, bafflingly, Tsunoda carried on driving again. And I can recall the commentators having a laugh going, oh, no, he's on again. 2 laps later, Tsunoda then entered the pits, of which he was stationary for something like 30 seconds as his team frantically combed the car. Given the green light to go again, the AlphaTauri emerged from the pit lane in last place, only then to crawl around a number of corners where Yuki started complaining that his diff had broken. Pulling over again on lap 44, a virtual safety car was now deployed, giving Max more or less the ticket to the win, affording him the chance to pit for free and via a flawless pit stop emerge on fresh tyres that would see him compete to the end of the race with very little loss of time against Lewis, making up the advantage that Mercedes cars had before the adventures of Yuki. With the virtual safety car ending on lap 50, with Max now 12 seconds ahead of both Mercedes, who are in second and third respectively, Lewis declared that the VSC has stuffed us, all but declaring the lost chance of winning the race. Unfortunately, the race only got worse for Lewis, but let's get into that shortly. Gents, whilst a clinical and somewhat flawless drive by Max, a lot needs to be attributed to his strategy and pit wall team again. They seem to be on another level. But do you want to address all of the hate that was being thrown towards Yuki Tsunoda about whether or not this was...
I'd absolutely love
whether
to.
or not this was done on purpose by Red Bull.
Okay,
yes,
well,
it was.
Unfortunately, we're going to have to repeat what WTF1 said, because they actually said exactly what I wanted to say today.
Oh,
and
no.
I know I gave them a bit of crap lately.
You haven't just given them a bit, you've gone to town on them.
I actually liked what they had to say on this, and I totally agree. First of all, I'll tell you why. Like, for those who don't know what the explanation was, he went into pit because he thought the tire wasn't on properly, and there's a belief that he had undone his loosened up his seatbelt because he thought he was going to get out of the car. So when he drove back to the pit, they were readjusting his seatbelt for ages, and they changed the tires. Then when he went out again, he realized it wasn't the tire; it must be the diff. So he pulled over, thus the virtual safety car, which is an advantage, but it's not that much of it. It doesn't squeeze the track that much. It's not a proper safety car.
I think the point, though, is depending on where the virtual safety car ends is...
that's something else.
Yeah, but that's random. You can't pick that. But
you still... So if it was a regular safety car, you'd lose something like 20 seconds, whereas if it's a VSC, you only lose like 15, but it's still enough, whatever it is.
Anyway, it wasn't enough because... places didn't change after the virtual safety car. Yuki made it to the perfect spot so he didn't cause the safety car. So that's point one. If you really want to stuff it up, why not just pull over as soon as you can, slow the whole race down, get a proper safety car. Secondly, if you're going to do something, conspiracy theorists, if you think that AlphaTauri are going to fix the race...
I do.
They're not going to make it obvious. If you've ever watched anything on sports fixing, no one knows it's going on except for the people doing it and those who are looking for it, and that's their job, to spot fixing. And it happens time and time and time again. Go, God, isn't this odd? Look at like the odds and things. That's all that is.
Yeah.
If he's doing it, they would have done it smarter. Not to mention the explanation was absolutely sound for why he had to stop him.
I think he copped a lot of shit.
So much more fun to assume that every conspiracy theory is absolutely correct.
Why would they need to do it this weekend? Like, it's a home track. Like, people aren't going to riot if he doesn't come first.
I think that we're doing a disservice to how petty and how uber competitive. I agree. Obviously, in all seriousness, there is no conspiracy theory. It's very weird that he stopped twice. It's almost as if he stopped once and it didn't trigger the VSC. So they were like, come in, why don't you? And we'll try again.
Oh, look,
we'll try it again.
We'll fix the seatbelt so it looks like we're doing something.
You can't actually loosen your seatbelts. You either undo them or you do them up.
Undone it,
you
then.
Can't. Yeah. So, don't
forget this is the smallest man in history. So whether they fit
true.
ever.
I actually blame the commentators for making it seem sus, because I know Ted was making it sound super sus.
They were.
I know that Twitter people love to go, "Oh, didn't you hear the commentators? Like, they don't know what's going on. They're watching what we're watching."
Yeah.
I think it's very sus, but no, there was no.
No.
Red Bull don't just.
It's just
take,
so that
Red Bull doesn't need to cheat to win this year. They've got it in the fucking bag.
They would have been absolutely, like, monstrously desperate to win because they want to make Max happy.
Yeah.
So you look at, it's hard to feel like, well, last year Max won because of, rampant unprofessionalism from Michael Massey. This year,
because they paid Latifi off, didn't they? That was the real fixing.
Lewis
they
and
paid
George
Latifi off.
Looked like they were up on Max, so you could have had it. And then, look at that, Sergio Perez on the last corner.
Yeah,
and then today, on this race, twice Yuki had to pull over to try to get just to desperately get a safety. So it doesn't look good, but there isn't any.
No. And if Ev can take his tinfoil hat off towards anything against Red Bull, then anyone can.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised though if it did.
I'm really excited to hear Ev's opinion on the actual safety car. I can't wait for that one.
Yeah, all right. Well, let's keep moving.
What
then
about
on
Bottas?
That.
Also, just on one point Ev just made there, they want to keep Max happy. We know that Max is only happy when he feels that he legitimately won.
Yeah, I agree. I think Max is
cheating.
More a competitor. He doesn't want to win.
He doesn't give a shit if he cheats.
No, he does. I think he does.
I reckon
No,
he would.
no,
He's like a competitor.
You wouldn't be claiming last year if you honestly thought that you'd won competitively.
No, but their point with that, Ev, was that it doesn't come down to one incident. There were many incidents that went both ways, and that just happened to go their way.
Let's not dive into last year and all that shit again. But I think, back to Digz, your point, back to Ev's point, I think it's a case of making Max happy, less so, and probably more about the fact that because he won last year under such contentious circumstances, it means that if they win this year, they can be like, well, of course he was equal of, this is why it probably means so much to them, so they can just erase all the nonsense that said that he didn't deserve to win last year. Because if he wins this year, it's like, well, yeah, of course we won last year.
But then it's been so uncompetitive this year. It feels really hollow.
That's not true.
He doesn't deserve.
But that's like saying Lewis doesn't, because there's a lot of people now that say everyone's so bored because Max keeps winning. It's like
including Lewis,
including Lewis and Toto, and it's like
that was fucking fresh.
Yeah, it's like, where the fuck have you guys been? Like, this is what every other F1 fan's been dealing with for 7 or 8 years. Like, I think, I don't, and the season's only kind of blown out in the last 3-4 weeks. Before that, it was still red hot. It could have gone any way. And to be honest with you, part of me has been wondering when I should ask you to apologise to Red Bull, Ev, because you were adamant that once that tech directive was implemented, that they would be caught with their pants down regarding any form of... I
continue to be adamant about that.
They've only gotten better since that tech directive has been implemented.
To be fair, Mercedes have gotten closer since that tech directive, so maybe it just didn't affect them as much as we thought.
Looking at the rest of the podium, and unfortunately for Lewis, the second and third spots for he and his teammates George post that virtual safety car did not stay that way. Only 5 laps after the VSC ended, with both Mercedes making some ground on the 12-second gap of Max, Lewis's old teammate Valtteri Bottas all but stopped in the middle of the racetrack as his Ferrari-powered engine gave up. forcing an actual safety car to be deployed on lap 56. With the reality of the field now forced to bunch up, removing that 12-second gap altogether, Verstappen took a gamble to stop for used softs. He emerged in P3 on lap 57, while Russell followed suit to pit for his own used softs on lap 58,
Smart.
giving back second spot to Max. Importantly, the Ferraris also went in for softs, meaning that Lewis was the only car in the top 5 not on softs with 12 laps to go. Russell's bullish call to request a pit stop for softs ultimately gifted him second spot by the end of the race, but it left his teammate exposed. Rather than holding Max back from the safety car restart, because of George's pit, Max had free rein to go against Lewis for the race lead the moment the safety car came in. And even before the end of the first straight, Max was leading the race and went on to win. Gents, with his second place for the race, George has now moved ahead of Sainz on the Drivers' Championship into fourth and now is only 13 points adrift of second place, Charles Leclerc and Sergio Perez. But what's your take on George's call? Lewis was obviously furious for being left exposed to Max, and you heard it on his radio, compounded by the fact that he then lost out a podium altogether for being on harder tyres. But is Mercedes playing a dangerous game here by not prioritising, or was this the right call for the team given that if both he and Lewis were on medium tyres, they would have lost even more points?
Do you want to go first on this, Ev, or do you want me to go first?
I like reacting to your
All right, here we go.
sizzling hot takes.
Here we go. So, let's imagine for a second that George Russell doesn't go in for softs, and there are team orders to say, no, this would be ludicrous. Hey, guys, I want to come in for softs. No, George, you can't, because if you do that, you're going to beat Lewis. So, that's not going to happen, but let's say it does. And they come out, and they're both on mediums. The only thing I think that changes is that Max doesn't get the opportunity to basically be right up with Lewis on the line.
But he's going to get it regardless, right?
Right. I reckon he's got them in a couple of laps.
Oh,
then
at least.
then I think Leclerc still gets both of them. So at best you've got third and fourth Lewis and Russell.
Possibly fifth if Sainz didn't fuck up, right?
Possibly fourth and fifth if Sainz then does it as well, which was likely because they weren't.
He was
that
also
fast
on softs. Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
So all that was lost out at best was that Lewis didn't get a fucking podium. And if I'm George Russell, I'm like, fuck you, mate. Like, I'm doing just as well as you. I'm taking my podium.
Second and fourth is better for that team than fourth and fifth or third and fourth. Yep.
Russell decided he was smart enough. I think Lewis should have gone in for softs as well and attempted to at least... They could have ended up second and third. Not only that, Lewis's restart was fucking awful. What are you doing, mate? Or maybe he thought his car was last year's car, but to let Max basically almost be equal with you as they cross the line, that's unforgivable.
Ev, what happened there? Did he go too early?
You can't blame the team. You can't blame the team for your mistake.
Well,
so,
I want to ask you a question about that. But Ev, did he go too early there, Ev?
Yeah. So Lewis went too early, which gave Max a drag around the corner. He could have waited until being on the back straight and then go. Yeah. And so that wouldn't have given him a slingshot.
Yeah.
And then coupled with Lewis, so whenever you go into a virtual safety car or a regular safety car, you turn the engine down to conserve fuel because you only have the minimum amount of fuel. And they actually put in enough, assuming that there will be a safety car.
Yep.
So if it's a 72-lap race, you may only get 65 laps worth of fuel at full tempo. So you have to, if there is no safety car, by the end of the race, everybody's coasting because they need to conserve fuel. Sure. So Lewis had actually put the car into fuel saver mode and forgot to take it out of that mode.
No.
Which is why...
Brake magic all over again.
Yes, similar. It's why Max...
Now that makes me even madder at Lewis.
Yeah. There's a photo of Max overtaking Lewis at the start line, and Max is 1 meter behind or something.
Yeah,
and that's close. Way too close. You have to be behind. You're not allowed to be... No, but you're not allowed to be alongside. And
you said he was a meter behind.
No, but you're not allowed to be on side like he's hustling.
You mean only anymore? Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So,
I see.
Yeah, but Max didn't mean to. it's only because Lewis was in the wrong engine mode that Max didn't anticipate Lewis would be
so
shit.
slow. Yeah.
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 And so that's why. So Max is actually very lucky he didn't overtake before the start line.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
wow.
he'd get like a 5-second penalty for that.
Yeah.
Could have worked out better for him. Brilliant,
Yeah.
brilliant.
So,
like I get that
yeah.
that you can't hustle, but to me it didn't feel like. I feel like if you're doing that just before the last corner and you're forcing them to go faster, that's hustling. To me,
That's
that
what
just
he
felt
was
like
doing
brilliant
last
timing.
year. They
Yeah,
brought
I
in
know.
this rule because of him.
But it
Yeah,
felt like
that's
that was
right.
just brilliant timing, and I didn't have a problem. With
Yeah, like when George like guessed the timing for in France.
exactly.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
2 questions then out of that. First one for you, Ev. If that was Valtteri Bottas, would they have allowed him to pit?
No, of course not.
Yeah, okay, that's what I
think
thought.
I think what happened there was that, the radio calls are delayed when you're watching the
Yeah, of course.
telecast.
Yeah.
What I think happened though was that George said, "I'm going to come in for softs." I think he didn't actually give his team enough time
to say no?
realize. Yeah,
Yeah, he was showing. I saw the video.
It
I
was
think he's
very
only
brusque.
just coming around.
Yeah,
to
and
the pit.
it's-
He's like, "Let's do it. Let's go."
He
softs." I think
demanded it.
The team wanted. No, he didn't demand it. He's like, "Let's do softs. My tires aren't feeling good. Let's do it." And they were like, "Yeah, sure."
yeah. Oh no, but it was pretty forceful.
I think the only reason Bottas wouldn't have done it is because they would have said no to Bottas, and he would have been like, "Okay."
yeah,
That's
but
what-
also,
yeah.
You know, like
Bottas
he
would
said,
have
I
been
told
100
everyone it
points
was a two-stop.
behind
If you
Lewis
did,
as well.
mate, put your money where your mouth is. And I think Russell's more inclined to do that, as I think Sainz is more inclined to do that than Leclerc.
Yeah, I must say, that's not the first time that Russell has backed himself from a strategy call during the race and got it right.
Yeah.
And I guess my next question out of that then, and to either of you, is, again, acknowledging Russell's ability to think on the go and to be able to unpack the strategy. I picture that Julia Roberts meme with all the fucking trigonometry things. I think it's Julia Roberts. I don't know who the chick in the meme is.
It's some chick, yeah.
Yeah. But the inability, or I guess, so first of all, the mistake that Lewis has made in the restart, but then also his inability to make a call and lean on the team. Is this just, again, more crack showing of he's just not the man, he's not the driver he used to be?
Well,
No,
we used to argue that a few years ago. Remember when, I love to use this as an example, Hungary, where they told him to pit, and he said, "No, I don't want to
Yeah,
pit."
he's the only one.
Bad. And then they did pit him.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is where he was losing to Max, and they did pit him. And he's like, "This is a
Yes.
bad idea." And then he smoked Max with 3
yeah.
laps to
Yeah,
go,
yeah.
and he was like,
Yeah.
"Great work by the team today." It's like I think his team is a lot like
Yeah.
I think it's right for him to listen to the team, and I think Russell just had a good call. I think it was harder for Lewis to make that call because he's first, and
that's
he's
right.
got Russell. So he's fucked if Russell goes in. If they told him that Russell goes in, maybe he pits and gets softs.
I
as
couldn't
well,
help
don't
but
know.
laugh because, I mean, the Lewis after the race was very different to the Lewis we heard during the race. But during the race, I couldn't help but laugh when Lewis did come on the radio and he was more or less like, not verbatim, but "you guys fucked me" type of thing. I think was kind of the...
That's literally what he said.
Yeah, okay.
I'm really
you fucked
pissed.
me. And that was in regards to them not putting him on softs. But he was leading the race. If they had have pit him to put him on softs, he wouldn't have been leading the race, and then he would have been complaining. I'm obviously
Yeah, that's right.
hypothesizing
Yeah.
here. He would have been
Yeah.
complaining that they didn't leave him out
Damned if
there
you
to
do, damned
fight.
if you
So,
don't.
yeah, well, that's it. But yeah, to the point, I think, he was furious and quite pointed at the team. But then his demeanor and I guess I posted something on Insta about it, saying that
What did he say? What did he say?
his PR messaging was in full flight because after the game he cut a shadow of a very different character. And look, maybe it was because he was then aware from a bigger picture perspective once he'd had time to cool down from the emotion that for the second time in 3 races, Mercedes have been a genuine and comfortable podium contenders. While they obviously missed out on their first win of the season, the pace was out there to get the job done. Russell's second place was Mercedes, another podium for the Silver Arrows for the year, and it leaves them just 30 points adrift of Ferrari, and they're very much in the hunt for P2 in the Constructors' Championship.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of dawned on Lewis, and albeit it's been a really hard year, and he's obviously, I think, internally desperate for his own ego and his own legacy not to go through a season, particularly the one after he should have been crowned the 8th-time world champion, that he may go through the whole way without a win. But look, let's round out the podium because behind George came Ferrari's Charles Leclerc, and albeit he may have managed to get back on the podium for this is quite a scary fact, boys, the second time in 10 races.
Jesus.
The reality is this was a track that probably should have suited the Ferrari, but they just couldn't compete with Red Bull, or indeed Mercedes, if I'm to be honest. And albeit he claimed back second spot in the Drivers' Championship, of which I kind of touched on, he's now equal with Perez, he lost yet more ground to championship leader. Boys, whilst the day out for his teammate Carlos Sainz seemed to be fought with pit lane fuck-up after pit lane fuck-up, with the worst resulting in a penalty that cost him 5 seconds at the end of the race and dropped him from 5th spot to 8th.
I felt sorry for him for that.
Yeah. But Jensen, acknowledging that there is rarely a race these days in which there aren't more question marks put over that team as a whole, Binotto has actually since come out and finally suggested that maybe something needs to change. Other than the, no shit response, do you guys have any further comments to add to Ferrari's day out on the weekend? Because it wasn't great.
Yeah, I mean, it's come to be what we expect. But one interesting thing I heard Ted say was he was actually genuinely surprised this time, at least, because he said he'd been watching Ferrari all weekend and they had been practicing so hard with their pit stops and been fucking nailing it. And obviously they're aware that there are issues and they need to get these little things right. And it sounded like they're trying to take care of those problems, and just something. There's something not right in there to put the wrong tire in the wrong bag or put it on the wrong shelf or whatever. It seems just a bit unfortunate, but the luck's just not going their way maybe, or they're just not clamping down on mistakes. Because Leclerc had a good pit, then Sainz had a bad pit. It's hard, to really know.
I got a question for Ev on this about Binotto, and I was speaking to someone on the weekend who has come from the F1 world and actually had quite a bit to do with Binotto, and said that everybody loves him and he's genuinely the nicest guy in the world. But does this stuff need to start at the top?
Williams.
Is he just not cutthroat enough? Like, how, if I were the boss and this shit happened and your ass is on the line as accountable, like, wouldn't you just be going, you're fired, you're fired, you're fired? Like,
so he's been there for 2 decades or something.
Yeah.
He's part of the family essentially, and he operates in the way that the Ferrari family want him to run the team.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Yeah, but it's all very Italian. The engineer who's having a long conversation before asking a question.
It's like us.
I love that guy. He's my favorite character in the F1
and it's just
TV
weird.
show. People.
Yeah.
I think we drop that into every fucking episode.
In terms of leadership, this probably wouldn't happen at Mercedes or Red Bull. Or
can you imagine if this was Horner? There's no way Marco would let this shit happen, right? Hey, also, I finally got some confirmation, unofficial confirmation about, and again, I appreciate this is well off track, but we asked the question of what kind of helmet Marco's role was, and we spoke a lot to the point that he's kind of in charge of their young generation academy or whatever. But he is a direct and independent, guidance.
Non-executive CEO, I think.
Well, yeah, he is literally, Dietrich Mateschitz goes to him. Like, he is Dietrich's 2IC without having the official title. I got confirmation of that recently too. But speaking of Red Bull, and looking at the rest of the race, having covered off Lewis in 4th, Red Bull's Perez came in 5th. The only thing for me to call out here was the dogfight between he and Sainz for most of that, of final third in the battle for 5th, which was great, but otherwise felt like it was a bit of a non-event for him as he continues his battle for second in the Drivers' Champ. Boys, any comments from you on that?
I think it's time we ask the question, is it Perez, or could anyone actually do better in that Red Bull car as Max's partner? Like, is this as good? Like, because Perez has had some great races. He won at Monaco. He's been on the podium a bit. He's second in the Drivers' Championship.
Yeah, so what more could you ask?
Is that as good as the second driver can do? Because he was miles behind today.
In Red Bull it is. In Red Bull it is, because I think we've clearly established that no other driver is going to get the opportunity other than Max, right? So that's as good as you're going to get out of your second string driver for Red Bull, I would have thought.
Does Daniel do better than him if he's at Red Bull?
Yes.
Okay.
That's a big call.
Anything's better than P17.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get onto that shortly. Ev, any other comments about Perez, mate? I mean, it felt like a bit of a. He was kind of lost in the midfield, so didn't get a huge amount of my attention. But
what does he want?
Money.
Well, so Rubens Barrichello is known as the greatest sidekick in the history of F1, who only ever bowed
did
down
everything
and
for
he did everything to make Michael win.
Yeah.
And it's kind of to his credit as well. He's well respected.
I still think about when you told me about that race where he was winning and he literally kind of stopped on the finish
Austria.
line. Yeah.
And they got booed.
So Michael let him win one race a year. That's nice of Michael.
Pity vote.
I think Michael even stood to the side of the podium for that race as well, and let Rubens stand at first.
Yeah, the people that put money on Rubens to win though weren't very happy.
Yeah.
Well, serves you right for betting, you dumb cunts.
You bet every week, you idiot. You fucking idiot.
I bet $10. I'm not.
It all starts somewhere, mate. It all starts somewhere.
So does Sergio want to be the sidekick? Because you're never going to replace Max. And if you're not happy with that, then you're not really pushing him either. Because that's what you need. You need to push Max so that Max is on point every time, more so than what he already is. Otherwise, he'll get complacent. It's inevitable, not because it's Max, but for
I think he's doing well enough to keep Max on his toes, but maybe not well enough to push Max.
Yeah.
And I think we all know where Perez was going before Red Bull, and he should just be happy to be there.
Yeah, it's true. But you look at last year, Perez wasn't there to be a rear gunner when Max needed him.
Yeah.
And the same with Lewis, didn't have...
Oh, hold on. What about what Perez did in that race last year to hold up Lewis?
That was brilliant.
That's the one time.
Oh, he's done it. He's done it more than
it's
once.
Not like he's
not like that though.
It's not like he's
where
Ricardo
you throw yourself
and
on the wire.
McLaren, at the back of the pack while Norris fends for himself in P7, and then
I honestly think Ricardo put the car in reverse by mistake. You know, when you're in the car
knows
park
what happened to him.
and you don't realise that you put the car in reverse.
All right, well, let's keep moving through. I wonder if I should start avoiding asking questions of Ev to do with anything to Red Bull. Just because in saying that
we don't give enough credit to Perez, but I think Perez is not doing well enough overall.
He's second in a championship. I don't understand what more you guys would want from him.
Yeah, but he should
but
be
Ferrari's
1-2 every
making
week.
mistakes and still win second with him.
But that's part and part. It's footy teams blaming injuries. It's that's part and parcel of
Okay.
of,
Let me
sport.
rephrase. When we rephrase, why isn't Perez coming second more? Why is he so far back in the pack? That's my I know he's had some good races, but overall,
Well, let's put
It's been pretty anonymous.
Fair enough. But let's put our real evaluation magnifying glass over the Red Bull supporting act at the end of the year when we know where they fit in the Drivers' Championship.
Sure.
All right, turning our attention to 6, who was promoted from 7th following Sainz's penalty, was again Fernando Alonso in the Alpine. He's on a hell of a run right now. The Spaniard has scored points in each of the last 10 races, and only championship leader Verstappen is on a better streak. Now, he's only 7 points behind teammate Ocon. Boys, it's great to see and obvious in hindsight as to why Alpine was so keen to keep Oscar waiting in the wings for another year or two. This bloke is on fire. And I'm not going to ask the question about why, in fact, again, I posted a video tonight on Insta of him looking at the Aston Martin car after the race. And, I think we quoted it something along the lines of what the fuck have I done? But yeah, I mean, geez, he's flying, and that car looks so good.
It's clearly a higher performing car than McLaren right now. I know a lot of people have argued that with me and said that, well, it's because Danny's doing shit. I was like, maybe, but they're also finishing very, very close together. So there are the same people who tell me that Ocon's a terrible driver. They're consistently finishing in the mid, top of the mids.
Absolutely.
And just back to your point about Aston Martin, Stroll did okay, and Vettel.
Yeah, we'll get to him in a second. Yep.
Okay. But I think Alonso's really starting to get comfortable with that car just in time for him to leave, like Danny did, and he's starting to race really consistently. And I think we're all seeing why he was such a great driver. And I think I mentioned to you, or maybe I just put it in the notes, but a lot of people went with the hard tires because of what he demonstrated.
Yeah.
earlier in the weekend, he showed just how quick and reliable that tyre choice was. Yeah. And that's why we saw the attempted one stop from Norris and Mercedes.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Norris and looking at 7th, in stark contrast to his teammate was the Brit for McLaren. Starting P7, he acknowledged that it was going to be tricky to keep both Alpines behind. So to be fair, he did well to limit the damage to just one of them. But in spooky pattern of 7s, it was the 4th time in 5 races that he's finished 7th from 7th on the grid, and he retains his grip on 7th in the Drivers' Championship. Whilst I think there's not much to talk about in his race, unless you guys have got anything in particular, but looking at his teammate, has Danny all but given up, or has the team all but given up on helping him? Because his finishing positions of 17th for the race it's just woeful. And I'm really worried. I'm really worried about Danny now, like in terms of where he's going to land.
They feels like the dog they're about to take out back to shoot. Because everyone's sitting with him pre-race and going, "Hey man, how are you?" Like, doing all the no things. Let's go pat the dog before we get rid of it.
He got caught on a hot mic before the race.
Yes.
Sergio Perez. I'm going to take next year off and then I'll be back in 2024. Which might be wishful thinking. I don't know who he's going to be in 2024.
Yeah. Look, I think we like to go week by week. I don't believe Danny's just given up, because in the back of his mind he'll know this might be his last opportunity to race F1, unless someone like Haas says, "Look, go take a year off."
He doesn't deserve another year.
Well, if he is giving up, then no, he doesn't deserve another year.
I don't think he's given up. It's just weird. It's a weird.
I think there's an argument to say that McLaren has definitely given up on him, and they couldn't give a shit.
So in qualifying, he on his last flying lap, he hit a patch of dust that I think Vettel kicked up.
Oh, okay.
And that spun his tyre out, and so he lost like 0.3 of a second, which would have easily got him into Q2.
And that's why he couldn't overtake anyone in the race, I guess.
Well, and then if you're that far down, you're just stuck in a DRS train.
Particularly on that track, right, where you're relying on actually the top speed of your car. Otherwise, you're getting stuck in a DRS train, and there's no advantage.
Maybe if you're that far back, it's just too hard. I don't know.
I wonder where he would have finished had there not been Bottas and Tsunoda being taken off the track.
Yeah,
17th.
No, pretty sure he would have been 19th.
Right. I see what you mean.
I think that's without DNFs. I think he would have been 19th.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've touched on 8th in signs.
I just felt a bit sorry for him because I understand unsafe release. That's more than enough. But he had to wait as someone cut in to pit. So he would have been good to go. I think it was Ocon or someone, then cuts into pit, Alpine, which delayed him. Then he goes out.
Yeah, you can feel sorry for him, but you don't have to feel sorry. It's a fuck up from the team.
Yeah.
What about?
I get that. I just think it was just unfortunate. Another unfortunate moment for him. Just the timing. 1 second earlier, he's out. Yeah, it's fine.
So it should be noted, people might not know this, when you finish the championship, where your team finishes, so Mercedes has been first for the past decade, they are first in the pit lane.
Yes.
And that's, even though there is no time gained from being first or last in the pit lane. You got
to all go the same speed.
Yep. There is an advantage because you have a better view of anybody coming down.
Yes.
You can sneak in and out more quickly.
Okay. Yeah. And you don't have to fit in between two cars.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So Red Bull are second. This next year, that Red Bull will be first, and I think that will be a big feather in.
God, will Lewis know how to pit second? Yeah, he already doesn't know how to race second.
There is a famous video of Lewis when he first went from McLaren to Mercedes, and he pulled into the McLaren pit lane.
Oh yeah,
because they had all come out for the McLaren car. Yeah, they came out for the McLaren car.
Yeah, and they all moved out of his way.
Yeah, they all look at each other, and he looks at them, and then he gets he gets out of it, which is really funny.
That's really funny.
Speaking of pit lanes. Ev, how did that Red Bull tyre not pop when it ran over the Ferrari gun?
Oh, yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it fucked up the gun.
Yeah, the gun looks...
I think it fucks up the cable to the gun. I don't think the gun is damaged.
I don't know. I don't think the pressure in the tyres are that... It's not like a bike tyre. It's not like explosively high.
All right, well, in rounding out the top 10, we had Alpine's Ocon in 9th and Digby's mate Stroll in 10th, who, albeit equalled his highest finishing position of the year, probably had his best weekend out together. I think that's the 5th time he's grabbed a P10 this season, but their pace across the weekend generally bodes well for the rest of the season, and perhaps some hope for Alonso after all, gents, albeit I don't think it's enough, but maybe there.
Yeah.
All right, so that's your top 10, but in quickly running through a few of the bottom 10 drivers, we touched on Danny, we touched on Tsunoda, obviously Bottas. I mean, Latifi was where you'd expect, so nothing to add there. A pretty shitty weekend for Vettel, but probably the only other worthy drivers of our attention, which I just want to quickly touch on, gents, would be the Haas pairing. So it was a weekend that offered a lot of promise for them after a strong final practice with Mick Schumacher, who followed up with a top 10 start for the German, but a slow stop, and I think he had a front jack issue. Again, fucking so many of them this year. It dropped him out of contention for points, and Kevin Magnussen couldn't recover from a terrible opening I think it was his second lap where he went wide and kissed the wall after hitting the gravel. It's now 4 races in a row without points. AlphaTauri are now only 5 points behind them in the fight for 7th. We spoke and everybody got pretty excited earlier in the year about Haas, but gents, we speak so much about the risk of Schumacher's spot, but he's only 10 points behind Magnussen and has probably been the stronger driver of the two recently. I mean, any thoughts? Like, is it unfounded?
I thought they were a bit too quick to start discussing, we need to get rid of him. I was like, well, you haven't... Like I said, maybe we're only saying that because it's a Schumacher and we expect him to be...
But he's been driving well compared to his teammate.
What was his qualifier? P8 or P7?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he finished top 10. Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. Like, I bet he's not consistent, but he's driving a Haas.
Yeah.
Like, if you're finishing top 10 in a Haas and qualifying, God, you hold on to that man.
God damn it.
His contract's up and he's going to want a pay increase.
Yeah, true.
Just don't give him a pay increase.
Yeah, but he might not take it though.
Where's he going to go?
Well, where's Daniel going to go?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's what I'm just saying. Either you pay Daniel more or you pay, like Schumacher can demand all the extra money he wants, but you can go, okay, bye, right. Nick, we don't have any more money.
Let's see. We've got a couple more weeks of this media circus to go around of where people are going to land, but moving on from the race, and we got a lot of love for this when we debuted it. Excitingly, gents, for the first time, in quite some time, it's Twat of the Week time. Motivated by the words or actions of others, we utilise this segment to call out some real twats. Think of like Tweet of the Week, but solely based around mostly arseholes and, well, twats that say dumb or do dumb shit. For those that have missed it previously, we've had a few legendary fuckwits running this. So we've had racist marshals, we've had insecure men who crumble at the words of a powerful female F1 presenter, we've had old man who yells at clouds, helmet, we've had a go-karting Nazi lover. I mean, we've had quite the mix. But this week's Twat of the Week goes to a Dutch GP attendee who over the weekend during qualifying threw a flare on the track. Literally, as the cars were rolling out for Q2, before the commentators could even start talking, the session was red flagged. Very quickly, the likes of Brundle and Crofty were trawling their screens to understand which car just binned it within seconds of pulling out a pin lane, inevitably to arrive at the reality that some knobhead had gone and tossed a flare on the track. Now, whilst it didn't take long to clear up and the fan was ejected, gents, it's not even funny or clever. It's not intriguing. It's not even for a fucking point. Like those dickheads that ran onto the track at Silverstone to protest meat eating or some shit. At least some impact of that protest was made and there was some purpose to it. I can't remember it, but, you get what I mean. Boys, was this just a case of pure stupidity or have I missed the point here? Can you imagine what would have happened if a car was driving and saw that hurling towards them out of the corner of their eye? Yes, they have cat-like reflexes, but what the actual fuck? Fair point.
Except when it's a flare on the track, we all see it and everything has to be stopped because of it and it ruins everything. There are other things that people do that we can't see. For me, the biggest twats of the week on Twitter were the ones accusing Hannah Schmidt, the head strategist of
Red Bull.
Accusing her of cheating. and being a part of the whole AlphaTauri
boyfriend
thing, being a part of the AlphaTauri thing and causing And I thought that was
because wasn't there a poster of her smiling that somebody tried to line up with the timing of AlphaTauri's.
You can do anything with the internet, can't you? It's like, oh, look, it's her smiling. That's she's cheating.
I'd be smiling too if my plan came off that well.
Absolutely.
It was such a shame because she was getting such praise the last few weeks.
You're talking about like her plan is in the tinfoil hat plan, not like her actual strategy. Right, got it. Hey, Ev, just laddering back to... Yeah, I agree with you, Dig. Again, that's probably an insecurity thing from a bunch of fragile men out there.
It's always insecurity, isn't it?
The flair stuff, it's quite common in football, particularly European football. I don't know, like you're...
It's really only Italian football that they do flares still. If anything, we need more flares. And more, but only thrown on the track. I want proper. I want like the opposite. I want death race.
This is like Mario Kart all over
we're already
again.
doing Mario Kart tracks. We might as well do like random fucking things that freak out drive. Like just do that. Like I don't want any safety cars. I want cars
if it wasn't
to crash.
dangerous enough. Let's do a night race.
I want
no
way
lights,
more crashes.
only flares from the crowd.
Everyone's
thrown
twisted
onto the
metal.
Right.
You want twisted metal, mate.
I want Carmageddon.
I want Death Race with Jason Statham.
Just out of curiosity, streakers, do you like them or hate them? Because at least they're funny, right? Do you?
Depends if they're either really hot or really fat. Those are two options.
My favourite streaker was the one who got absolutely nailed by Adam Simons.
Like, properly hammered.
Not Adam Simons.
Properly
Andrew
hammered.
Simons.
Andrew Simons. May he rest in peace. Yeah.
The thing that it used to be funny when they would film it, and we all got to have a laugh.
Yeah, exactly. Why aren't you still filming it?
Now you can't. Now you're not allowed to watch it because it gives people attention. So it just ruins it for all of us watching at home.
Yeah, we want to see it.
Stop stuffing the. It's not about you. It's about the teams. It's
but
like,
Digby, that woman who's the strategist for Red Bull, isn't that virtue signaling on Red Bull's part? Like, oh, look at us, we've got a girl too.
No, actually, I don't. But I think when the TV, did you notice that this week on TV, they really, instead of zooming in on Christian, they'd zoom in on her, but focus on Christian behind her. And I thought that was a bit ridiculous. I don't think it's virtue signaling. She's doing a phenomenal job. So clearly, it's not virtue signaling. If they were having, if this was a Ferrari strategist,
you don't think there's like,
I'd be like, maybe that's
all right. Well, before you nominate yourselves as Twat of the Week, you orange, I almost said orange haired, but you orange flare throwing fuck, you get our Twat of the Week because you're an idiot. And boys, if I could be so bold and suggest, I reckon that person, that individual through life and his integration into society and his education clearly wasn't paying attention. Oh, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. After the diabolical nature of last week's quiz, we are back as we roll into another round of Haas, you've been paying attention! Woo! Yay! That's right, ladies and gents. After the diabolical nature of last week's quiz, we are back as we roll into another round of Haas, you've been paying attention. Our ludicrous but often hilarious and scary segment that sees you two clowns line up in a battle of the F1 wits. And with 21 rounds down, that's crazy, following his first win in a very long time, Digz has restored his lead and now stands at an 11-10 score count. Ev, you've had a hell of a run. I feel like this is yours for the win today, though. I mean, you should be rolling into every episode as the favourite, given you're supposed to be our tech and historic insight, guru to this sport. But Digz, you continue to find a way to disrupt the status quo. So let's do this. Digz, do me a favour, mate, and test your buzzer, please.
Yuki's a cheater. I don't believe that he cheated everyone before you get upset. That's just my buzzer.
Very good. All right, if Ev throws out a bonjour here, I'm going to kick him in the dick. Ev, what you got?
We're in Monza, so my buzzer is, it's a me!
Yeah, love it. Very good. He loves to kind of go with the accents now. It used to be a real music theme. It's just, there's patterns. All right, they never disappoint, and same rules as ever. First one with the buzzer gets a swing, get it wrong, and it's a free hit to the other. So, Ev, no jumping in with your buzzer if you don't know the answer to block Digby. That has often failed you dramatically.
No.
So here we go. Digz, put your phone away.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there it is.
I was gonna do a story of us potting.
Sure.
All right, well, you can do it after Haas.
Do a story after Haas.
Yeah. Right, question 1. Max just won his 4th race in a row, his best ever. Who holds the record for the most amount of races won in a row ever?
Yuki's a cheater.
What do you got?
Lewis Hamilton.
Wrong. Ev, you gonna have a crack, big guy?
It's a me.
What do you got?
It's either Schumacher. Or, I'm guessing it's either Schumacher or Vettel or somebody from like the 50s.
Why don't you just name all the drivers?
Why don't I?
Give me one, you idiot.
Look, I guess the obvious one would be Schumacher, but I doubt
mate,
it. I think it'll be
you
somebody.
had it. It was Vettel. Vettel won.
Well, you named all the drivers. Oh, you had it.
That's true.
Yeah. Vettel won 9 races in a row in 2013, and Nico Rosberg has also won 7 in a row, which he did in 2016.
With the same machinery as Lewis, I believe.
Digby, put your phone away.
I'm doing the story. You're not answering. You're not asking a question.
Well, I'm about to. We're up to question 2, you idiot. Right. Max has now won 10 races this year, equaling the amount of races he won last year. What's the record for most amount of races won in a given year?
Yuki's a cheater.
What do you got?
16.
Ooh.
Nope. Wrong.
It's a me. Is it 12?
No, it's 13, which was also Vettel. Again in 2013. But Schumacher also had 13.
Mick Schumacher?
Yeah. With 7 races to go, this could be another record smashed by the Flying Dutchman.
Oh,
so we are 0-all. And
We've lost
question 3. How many podiums have Mercedes had this year?
Yuki's a cheater.
What?
6.
No, wrong.
Does each driver...
Yep.
Yes.
Is each driver an individual?
Yes. Podium. Yep.
Yeah.
As in, like, if they've been on at the same time, it doesn't count.
No, I mean, that would be 2 podiums.
Yeah, that's right.
Bullshit. That's one podium. It's only one podium.
No, it's not.
No. All right, well, does that mean it's 12? Is it 12?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah! Get sucked in!
Fuck that. 6 race podiums.
Yeah! Woo!
What a joke.
Sucked in.
That's such bullshit.
Oh, that was magic. There you go. Well done, Ev.
Digby's like
Russell's-
celebrating his slam dunk, and I've just picked up the ball and just laid it up at the other end.
Yeah. That Russell's second spot was the Silver Arrows' 12th podium this year, albeit they're yet to stand on the top step for all of them. Right. Score count sits at Ev 1. Digby zip. Question 4. How many different drivers have won the Italian GP / Monza in the last decade?
It's a me.
Yeah, what do you got?
5.
That's what I was going to
No.
say. Okay. 6.
Yes, you fuckwit.
Yes, one of them. Yeah, it was 5 or 6.
Oh, Ev, it's like
I
you
knew
got
I
so
thought I
close
missed
that I
one.
think I revealed it in my voice when I said no.
Well, I was going to say 5, so thank God I didn't buzz in.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so you're both going to get a swing of this, but Diggs, you get first crack. Half a point each. Name them.
Ricardo.
Yes.
Leclerc.
Wrong. Fuck me.
No,
Oh, no.
he's
No,
won.
sorry, you're
What are you
right.
talking about?
Sorry.
Fuck off.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. That's 2.
Okay.
That's
okay. Hamilton.
Yes.
Vettel.
Yes.
Bottas.
No.
Damn it.
No, Ev, there's 2 left. He said Ricardo, Leclerc, Hamilton, and Vettel. There's 2 left in the last decade.
Gasly?
Yes.
Oh, I forgot about Gasly.
I was so desperate to tell you. I just wanted.
yeah.
I wanted you to get him.
I was even thinking
Yeah.
about that on the weekend.
Yeah.
I don't know who else. it would
One more.
have been. You said Vettel. You said Ricardo. Ricardo's the dark horse. That's the one.
There's
who
one
people
more,
want
I
to get.
think.
Yeah,
It could
one
be.
more. One more.
Look, I can't. I
Yes,
want
you
to say
can.
Verstappen, but I don't want to. I don't want to say
Quick.
Verstappen.
Say one more.
Come on.
Is it
give me a
Singapore?
countdown. Give me a countdown here.
Science. I'll say science.
No, Rosberg.
Rosberg.
Yeah.
Rosberg was, I was going to say it's going to be Rosberg
I've wiped
or
him from
Bottas,
my memory.
But I went
I've wiped him
Bottas.
from my memory.
Yeah,
And
in
that's
equal
when I fucked
machinery.
So how many did he get? He got 1.5 points, and I got a half point or something.
Yeah. No, he got 2.
No.
He got 2, and you got 1. So it's 3 to 1.5. All right, question 5. Has an Italian driver ever won the Italian Grand Prix? And I'm going to caveat that with since 1950.
Yuki is a cheater.
Yep, what do you got?
I'm going to guess no.
The answer is wrong.
I'm going to guess yes.
Well, hold on.
There we go.
Well,
Swish.
yeah. No,
That counts. That counts.
Ev, for you to get this right, you have to...
No, that's not the rules.
Well, you can't get it because I didn't get it.
Yeah.
I
well,
got
you
it,
have to...
buddy. I got it. I don't want to tell you.
No, you can't. That's a good point. Oh, God. He kind of does,
I
though,
didn't screw
Digz.
it up.
No, but he
kinda
doesn't.
does.
He doesn't know.
It
Well,
was
okay,
50-50 anyway.
Okay, he gets half a point because I didn't
Yeah,
clarify.
I'll give you a half point.
Oh,
Yep.
thanks. You don't get to give me a
But
half point.
Ev, to get a full point, can you name how many Italian drivers have ever won an Italian GP? Just how many do you reckon there were?
6.
Oh, there were 3. So that was actually that was an interesting guess.
Twice too many.
So what does that make it? It makes it 3-2. And just so you guys know, Ludovico Scarfiotti in 1966 won it. Alberto Ascari, he won it in 52 and 51. And of course, why not, Giuseppe Farina in 1950.
Old Papa Giuseppe.
And just so you know, and I never knew this, but Clay Regazzoni, who I know from obviously the movie Rush with Chris Hemsworth, who was Niki Lauda's teammate at Ferrari, he is not Italian. So,
Is he not?
No, he's Swiss.
What is
He's Swiss.
Wow.
His
I don't
name's
know.
like John Rigatoni, and he's not Italian.
Yeah.
Clay
All right,
Regazzoni
boys.
or something.
It's 3-2. Last question. Are you listening?
Yes.
Can you name the last Italian driver to hit the F1 grid?
It's a me,
Oh, what do you got? What do you got?
Giovinazzi.
Yes! Yes! Oh, Evan.
Think of him.
Oh, Evan, I thought... Oh, wow, that is amazing. Giovinazzi.
He's my boy. He's coming back next year.
He was obviously driving for Alpha last year. And what's his connection to Haas now? Or
No,
he was-
he's signed to. He's still signed to Ferrari.
Oh, yep.
As a Ferrari driver.
Yep.
It's just that he drives in I think the Ferrari touring cars right now.
That's right. Yeah.
So that's Ferrari do the engines for.
But is he
Haas.
coming back to F1?
Oh, that's like the hot gossip.
Yeah.
He did a
some
practice
cars.
run one day.
All right.
Yeah,
Boys.
it's a
We
draw.
are into the bonus question. It is 3-3 somehow. I don't know how the fuck that happened. Well done, Ev.
Because you gave him half a point for
No, but-
taking.
Yeah, exactly. He should have given me a whole point, Digby. I agree with you.
Yeah. To be fair,
I
he
should
would...
have won by half.
All right, you ready?
Oh,
Bonus
dear.
question. I'll wait until Ev sipped his tea. That was badly
No,
timed.
just
All right. Which team principal has a tattoo of Monza circuit?
It's me.
I think that was Ev, but I don't know if it was because he was more high pitched. What do you got, Ev?
Fuck off. This is bullshit. This is so bullshit.
What do you got, Ev?
I just want to.
5, 4, 3, 2.
It's the
1.
principal for McLaren.
Too late. No, you
Zach
didn't get it
Brown.
right.
It's Zach
No,
Brown.
Too late.
Yeah, he gets it. Well done, mate, because he
There you
obviously
go.
had a deal with Danny Rick that he'd get a tattoo if Danny
What
won the
bullshit.
race, of which he
What
won last
bullshit.
I
year's
thought his
Monza.
name was Dave Brown. I was like, it's not Dave.
I can't believe
Look,
that Ev has
For
done
all
it.
those people,
It's
I can
11
because
all.
you gave
It's
it to
11
him.
all.
He did it.
I
You
should have won by
literally
another
gave
point.
him the win. I buzzed
dear.
him for him.
Oh,
You gave him a
dear.
point for a 50-50 question.
I gave him a half a point, but to be fair, you guys are technically correct. If that was you, Diggs, you would be fucking up my ass saying, no, you owe me. You didn't declare at the beginning that it was a, non-half, whatever.
Look, if Ollie
No, you
spins
didn't
out,
declare at the beginning that if I got it wrong, you were going to gift him the fucking half point.
But that's,
if
that's
there's
the
a
issue.
VSC, I'm going to take it. If there's a
That's
VSC,
not
I'll take
how
it, Digby.
50-50s work.
But it's not a...
There's a
We've never
VSC.
had a 50-50 question. I didn't realise I'd written it as a 50-50 question. The question was supposed to
You
be
shouldn't have
how
got it
many,
wrong, dickhead.
how
I think
many
actually-
Italian
I think- I'm
GP
sure-
drivers.
I'm sure we had one in Taylor versus Ev. I can't remember now.
Right, you can dive through the catalogue. I realised where I fucked up. I should have said how many Italian drivers have ever won the Italian GP, not has an Italian driver ever won. Oh, Diggs, you've been done by a technicality there,
Shouldn't
buddy.
have gone first. I always go second. This is my new strategy. Always go second.
All right, let's move on.
To be honest, I should have gotten
How
Giovinazzi.
sweet it is.
Yeah, true. True. My head hurts from laughing too much. You know when you get that really sore back pain in the back of your head?
I'm getting it right now.
Yes, yeah, in the front of your head. Look
getting
at those
another
eyes.
beer.
Let me just close Wikipedia. There we go. And, he's gone.
Oh, fucking amazing. That was so good.
Digby's gone to get some fresh air. He needs to calm down. He's punching a hole in the wall right now.
God, that made me laugh. Did you almost get Zach Brown wrong then?
Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if you were delaying just to
That's why I was delaying. I couldn't remember his name.
Oh, God. You could have just said Brownie. Remember, Brownie.
That's why I said it was the guy who's the head of McLaren. And I was like, that's not good enough.
Yeah, good enough. All right. Quickly reverting back to some more serious track talk, let's round out this weekend's epic Monza race for round 17's Italian GP. What do we know about the track? One word, and I don't actually know if this is Italian, rapido, which I'm assuming means rapid. Formula One's fastest ever lap was set at Monza. Williams driver Juan Pablo Montoya's 260 kilometers per hour effort during practice for 2004 Grand Prix is obviously one of the quickest times ever recorded, but obviously in an actual race, which should give you some idea of the nature of the track that the locals call La Pista Magica. And I appreciate that's a terrible pronunciation. The cars are on full throttle for, I think it's about 80% of the entire lap, and they hit their VMAX on the circuit's 1.1 kilometre start-finish straight, which is massive.
For any layman's out there, this is also the circuit that Luigi's Castle was based off in Mario Kart 64. So there you go.
Luigi's Castle?
No,
Luigi Raceway. Luigi Raceway.
Is it actually?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that makes so much sense.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Well,
It's also a little racist, but there you go.
From the start finish, they roar off into the historic park section where a series of big stops into tight chicanes give the brakes a good workout. So located just northeast of Italy's fashion capital, Milan, it's leafy, relaxed setting for a Grand Prix and certainly a top of my list for visiting. Gents, ever visited Milan or wanted to go to Milan or even Italy for that?
I've been to Italy. I've been to a couple of spots which were incredibly touristy. I've never been to such a densely touristy place as Rome. It actually put me off going again, but I was thinking about going to Milan, and someone said, "Don't. It's just like another touristy city, but it's but it's very popular for its fashion and all that." I think it's.
Is that where Gucci was born? Is that kind of like it might be a dumb question for us three?
You're known for your fashion, Digby,
yes, my grey jumpers and my Daniel Ricciardo t-shirt
and your bowling shoes.
Yes, but I'd love to go to the south of Italy. That's my next trip. I think.
I agree. I think I've highlighted Italy. I want to do obviously some of that touristy stuff like the Amalfi Coast, but
Amalfi Coast.
Again, unfortunately, like Monaco for me, my stories of my time in Italy involve a fair amount of alcohol and indirect Australian offensiveness to the locals and their amazing culture. But yeah, certainly a place I'd love to go and spend many more weeks, if not months, just exploring. But in reverting the attention back to racing, as touched on earlier, last year's race saw the headline hopper Danny Rick win his first race since leaving Red Bull, with McLaren teammate just behind him and Valtteri Bottas rounding out the podium. Whilst very, very unlikely to see that podium again, it's time for Ollie's Odds. Ching-ching. So, in reflecting on the Dutch GP, well, actually, boys, we all got the winner right. We all bent to the norm and backed Max to win, which, again, is probably a sign of the predictability of where we're at right now. Digz, you actually had Leclerc in third, which was a good shout. We all called a Perez second spot, but no dice there. And looking at this week, I'm actually going a home win for Ferrari with Leclerc in first, and then Verstappen and Hamilton. So there you go, a Ferrari home win. What have you boys got?
I don't know about Ferrari winning, even if they have a fast car. I feel like there's so much pressure on them. They're just not going to bend again. I think Max has this. Max looked great on it last year. But I'm going to put Leclerc second and Russ. Oh, no, that's this week. No, you know what? No, no, I think Russell. I reckon let's go Max, Leclerc, Russell.
Okay, there you go. Ev, what you got, big guy?
I think Max, I'll go Hamilton and George.
Oh, That would be 2 podiums for Mercedes. Digz.
Yet they're only standing on one.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah, but not
fair
the
enough.
same one.
No, there's only one podium there, mate. They're standing 3 people on one podium. There's
Very
not
quickly,
3 podiums.
Fastest laps from you fast talkers?
Fastest lap will probably be Max.
Yep, agreed.
I'm going to say Albon.
Albon?
You're an idiot.
Come on, mate.
Although, actually, they are the fastest car. That's
Are they?
Yeah. They do have
Well,
fastest,
they've got the least
best
amount of
top speed.
downforce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
Okay. So
That's
yeah,
very
it's
interesting.
that kind of track.
Yeah.
That's a bold strategy,
There
Carton.
you go.
So
I like
are we
it.
expecting Daniel Ricciardo to lose to Latifi this week? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah. I thought
Next
so.
segment, what's Verstappening? For those new or those forgetful, this is our quickfire round where the lads will spend the next little bit tackling some big agenda items one by one. A few questions against some other bits and pieces we've missed or happened away from the actual racetrack. And in being respectful of your time, and well, most importantly, my own, I'll be somewhat policing the answers for you boys with a cap again, so that we're not stuck here forever. 20 seconds each.
Actually, cap Ev this time.
Yeah. Let's get stuck in.
Every answer last week was like, "I'll give you this one, mate. I'll give you this one."
I didn't
mate."
think it was that bad, but Digz, let's
So much to explain.
let's go with you first, mate, so that you can kind of set the precedent. Herta Tori. It's been all but confirmed that IndyCar driver Colton Herta is locked in for AlphaTauri next year, meaning that either Gasly or Tsunoda are gone. Gents, why bring in Herta when the role of the team is to blood young Red Bull talent? Are you okay with this? You're confused? You don't like it? Or is this just goz? 20 seconds, go.
Probably partly gossip, but I have no problem with them breaking him in. I think Tsunoda's not doing much. He's even when he's having a good weekend, he still manages to fuck it up somehow. If they keep him, I'd be very surprised. And everyone seems to think Gasly's leaving. So, but I think Tsunoda will be the one that's easily replaceable if they're going to.
Hey, Ev, before I get you to answer, Helmut Marko all but confirmed that this was going to happen. However, it hangs on Colton being able to get a super license.
Yes.
2 things, and please try and keep this succinct. And Digz, I've broken the rules already. But 1, what is a super license? And 2, like, why would Red Bull suddenly be looking at an IndyCar driver that McLaren were looking at? Keep it quick.
I'll answer the second first, which is I don't know why.
Yeah.
So McLaren were looking at him because Zach Brown's American and he's
and they obviously
well
have
versed.
Yep.
And also commercially, they want to be have a bigger market presence in America. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
I don't get it. Yeah.
So they were talking about it for Andretti, for example.
Yeah.
When Andretti were coming in, he was going to bring in this guy.
Yeah. Well, he race for Andretti's IndyCar team?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
It doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Coupled with this super license, it's exactly what it sounds like. It is a driver's license, but for Formula One cars. So you can't just get into a Formula One car. Even F2 drivers might not have enough points. They may not have accrued enough points yet to get into Formula One.
Yeah, I think he's got 32 out of 40 points. But how do you get the additional points?
Just from racing. So he'll need to, perhaps when IndyCar season is over, there'll be some sort of a
but you get that if you come
season.
through F2, do you?
You need to be there for like F3, F2. You need to get
great.
It's essentially like you need 100 hours worth of experience before you can get a point.
yeah. Like
so I don't know what they're thinking, but
There's your 20 seconds. Stop now.
Yeah. No, it's good.
Yeah. You're welcome.
To Ev's point, to Ev's credit, he helped me. I didn't know anything about it. I just read that, and I just didn't quite know, and I couldn't be fucked to research. Joking. I thought I'd just ask Ev. Next topic, Australian angst. Over the weekend, it was revealed that Danny and previous driver Webber, who's now managing up-and-coming Aussie driver Piastri, had spoken and cleared the air following McLaren confirming they've taken on Oscar to replace Danny from next year and beyond. Similarly, it's been revealed that Oscar and Danny have spoken, all but rounding out that it was nothing personal or nasty. Gents, You've both been fairly outspoken against both Mark and Oscar, fairly assertive about your opinions of each. But with all of it unwinding now, and neither team looking quite so great, particularly McLaren, have you both moved on and happy to accept that no one actually did anything wrong? And will you be supporting Oscar as a fellow Aussie next year?
I'm still pretty upset that Danny got kicked out of McLaren, but now that they've actually bothered to come out and tell us what the fuck happened, I don't feel. I'll go out and say I was wrong, and I'm happy that I can now happily support Piastri because it makes me feel better that it was like he was put in a pretty unfortunate position and he had no choice but to up and move to McLaren.
And your thoughts about his tweet, which you again very quite you weren't very happy. I still think he shouldn't have tweeted that considering he didn't follow up with anything for 2 months. Because it wasn't that long. It was a month ago.
It was in July.
No, it
was
wasn't.
at least 9 months.
At least. But Digz, my understanding is that...
Okay. So what I'm saying is... But you asked me a question. If you put that tweet
up, and we gave you 20 seconds to answer.
Don't respond for weeks. People like me, and there are a lot of people like me on the internet, and worse.
Yeah, knee-jerk reactions.
Oh my God. I didn't interrupt you with your 2-minute speech, mate. It's going to put me offside. So luckily, he did have a really good explanation and everything was fine. But he could have come out with something less and I still would have had a bad taste in my mouth and it would have put me... I don't think it was the smart thing to do. I think it was still pretty snidey.
You're one of those guilty until proven innocent type of people, aren't you? Just so you know, there was
he was guilty with what he said.
Like, well, there was some rationale. There was some rationale. And again, maybe one day we can get a lawyer on the show. But that he had to respond in such a fashion to protect himself legally regarding the contract. So to declare...
How does that work?
To declare it publicly that there was no... That he, in fact, would not be driving rather than it be left unsaid, sitting in public. Yeah. Anyways, lots to unpack there.
So Alpine tried to get him on a technicality.
Absolutely. Absolutely. They tried to force him into a corner. Ev, very quickly, 20 seconds, go.
I think that he can and should and will, burn in hell. That's what I've got to say. No, that tweet, even for whatever you said, it's pretty gross. It's pretty gross how Daniel was treated, even though he's getting a golden handshake.
Yeah.
Look, we'll just have to see how we go next year.
But you're going to support. You guys are going to support Oscar, right?
I still want Alpine to be faster than McLaren. Just.
Yeah,
out of surprise. I really want Gasly to succeed there.
So it makes Danny look better. I don't want Danny to come out looking awful.
Yeah.
Just on Mick Doohan, I think was on track to potentially win the F2.
I think you mean Mick Doohan's son, mate.
Oh yeah, sorry, Jack Doohan. Yeah.
Doohan.
Which is again I think he was on track, but something happened.
He was on track to. He needed to win today to keep the fight going, I think.
Yeah, but wasn't there a crash that fucked him or something? Anyways, the point being
he got
is...
fucked,
Imagine if Danny does find his way back or, with a drive and you got Oscar, Danny, and then another kind of Australian coming up. I mean, that would be huge for such an underrepresented market.
Would be so good.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of Australians, Ricciardo's gap year. A video is doing the rounds, as Ev started to allude to, following the race of Daniel Ricciardo apparently telling Perez of his plans to take a year off in a bid to allow a more competitive drive to pop up post-2023 season. Accompanying this is also the apparent comments that Daniel is considering a role as a reserve driver for next year, similar to that of, say, a Hülkenberg. Gents, surely a year off for Danny at his age is all but signing his fate and the end of his time in F1.
Ooh, okay. Well, firstly, I watched that video. What he says is not that audible, and you don't hear what he actually says.
Did he say he was a virgin?
So you don't actually hear quite what he says before he says, take a year off and return it. He could have said,
these are my options.
No fucking way I'm going to take a year off.
I'm sure there was some lip reading.
And come back. You know what I mean?
So right, quick, you've got 4 seconds.
It's like a Daily Telegraph. It's like a Daily Mail article, and they're just...
Look, but surely not a good thing for him to take a year off, right?
Look,
Terrible.
It wouldn't be the worst thing. If he's a good enough driver and people like him and he's
not Alonso. He's not Alonso.
Well, yeah.
He's not.
He's better than Ocon, and Ocon did it.
Yeah, fair point. But Ocon's like 5-10 years younger. Ev, what do you got?
Still not 18,
No, he's Chris. He's done.
Yep. I agree.
While we're talking about this, can I just bring up the point? What episode was it? I think it was after Saudi Arabia that Ev said he will be gone by the end of 2022.
Boom.
No, I think I said
There
that.
you go. You're welcome.
No,
I think you took credit for it. There you go.
You know what? I'll pull up the TikTok after the episode.
There you go.
Yeah, hunt it down.
One of you guys were like, he's not making it to the end of 22. He's not making it to the next season.
Yeah.
Even if the contract says he is. And well done. You heard it here first.
Yeah. Take that, WTF.
When no one was listening.
Right,
about
last
Daniel
one.
Ricciardo.
Last one. Porsche less bullish. Red Bull boss Horner has indicated Porsche will not be able to buy into the team and will have to enter F1 on Red Bull's terms if a deal is to be done. Gents, I was under the, obviously now incorrect assumption that this deal was all but done, but in what was a leaked document highlighting that Porsche was to buy 50% of Red Bull, Marco, Newey and Horner have all declared that the Milton Keynes team needs to remain in control if that's going to happen. Gents, Horner indicated that they're not a corporately operated organisation. No shit. And this is, and that is one of their strengths. But are the chances of this deal happening all but over, or could this be the end of Horner and Marco?
Surely you don't get... I mean, I don't really know the ins and outs of the deal, and clearly the information that we're given through the media is often blurred. It seems odd because it, like you said, felt like the deal was done. Perhaps the deal was done, and Horner has less control than he thinks he's going to have, or they have all the control that they say they have, and Porsche will just have to be happy to, do it the way that they say. I don't know. I
think it's one of those things is like, we'll give you 49% rather than 50, maybe, like so that majority share sits with Red Bull.
Yeah, so that was the issue, is that if Porsche come in, eventually Porsche are going to want to have a say in how the companies run or how decisions get made, which means
buy helmet.
If you lose 50% of your power, you've ostensibly lost 100%.
Yeah.
Because even if you have 50, you then need to argue about the rest.
That's right. Yeah.
So which means that Christian, and it's really only Christian and Adrian. Adrian Newey's a saint, so he's not really going to be questioned. But Christian Horner certainly would be, just because he's the leader.
Yeah.
So he'd be signing away his career there.
Yep, fair point. All right. So do you think this deal will get done or
no?
Not?
I don't know why. I don't know how it got this far.
Yeah, I thought they confirmed it. For some reason, I had in the back of my head that Red Bull had confirmed this was happening.
Yeah, so there was a contract that got leaked, which was weirdly signed in Spain, I think it was.
Yeah,
and which doesn't make sense because obviously Porsche are conglomerated in Germany and Red Bull. I don't know if Red Bull Racing are.
Well, I thought it was all
consolidated
kind of
in England.
It was all supposed to be about Austria around the time of Austria.
But why would your contract be signed in Spain when neither company's from there? And so I think that may have been a prospectus that Red Bull had put together.
Sure.
And so whether or not negotiations got far enough down the line. You wouldn't give away 50%.
Well, that
Red Bull probably
could be a big
but,
out if Porsche suddenly
Christian
not in
doesn't want
F1. That feels like a big step backwards, and I have done a terrible job of keeping you guys to 20 seconds. But
I don't think one answer was to 20 seconds, except my first one.
Yep, that is it. That is our checkered flag, peeps. Thanks for tuning in again, and for those returning,
you had an answer in Haas. You've been paying attention. That wasn't 20 seconds, and it was yes. Oh wait, no. That didn't take you a long enough time. Right. That didn't take you 20 seconds.
Before we leave, wouldn't it be amazing if Daniel Ricciardo won this weekend?
Oh, never going to happen.
Whoa. And just know what we said last week. Last year, we all said the same thing.
McLaren will never let it happen now.
And Daniel won, and we didn't think it was going to happen.
But if that was this year, and Lando said, "Let me in front," they go, "Yeah, Lando." But then
Daniel would just crash him off the fucking course at this stage of the year, wouldn't he? What's he got to lose?
Right, that's it. That's our checkered flag, peeps. Thanks for tuning in again for those returning, and a big thanks to those here for the first time. But before we do jump off, in a bid to also continue my intention for people to get to know you boys better, I've mentioned before, but you're both amazing musicians with exceptional talent. Randomly, in our final few episodes of the year, I'm going to drop, with your permission, of course, one of your guys' singles after the episode. And so starting this week, you'll find Digz's Point of Love. Digz, I love this song. I always have. It's one of my most played songs of 2020. You featured in my Spotify top list. Wow. You see me now and it's not the same. I can't. Yep. I'll save it. Cool. Your memory's torn. Only I'm to blame. To be honest with you, I love when you get to the guitar riff. I feel like I want to dedicate this song to all those Ferrari fans out there, though. So make sure you have a listen. Have a listen to the words.
Point of loving Ferrari.
But very quickly, Digz, you wrote that, you sung it, you produced it, you played the guitar. What's it about and why the song? 20 seconds.
This was written back in like 2008, 19. I was a bit down, and I just watched A Star Is Born with Lady Gaga. And she did this.
Oh man, I watched that on the plane
at the end
last
of the
week.
movie.
Yuck.
I happened to have watched it on the plane, and she did this song at the end, and I was like, "That's just I Believe I Can Fly," and I was like, and then I was like, "It's also I Can't Live Without You." And I was like, Jesus Christ, anyone could just copy a song and write a new song. I was like, you know what? I'm going to fucking do that. So I took her song, and I was like, what's a chorus? What's the point of love? I was like, cool, there's my chorus. What's a sad song? Bang, bang, bang. And then I was like, oh, it's too similar. So I took Mariah Carey's Love Takes Time and threw it in a little bit of the chorus and then another song. And I was just like, mash them all together. It's like, it only took me about an hour, and I was like, I'm interested to see if people enjoy this song based on how much I've just...
based on how you described it.
Now A Star Is Born, ironically enough.
Right, and people quickly... I love this song.
Can I just say, I'm watching...
the system works.
I'm watching Ev slowly die inside by hearing how you've just come up with a fucking song when, no doubt, Ev pours his heart and time into writing and planning it out in his head, and you're like, I just grabbed a bit of fucking Mariah Carey
I opened a couple of tins of Fort VV, and
I never usually write like that because I'm the first to go like I did with Lady Gaga. Well, that's just this, and that bit's just this, and I always think that because I can hear it, everyone will know that I'm a fraud if I do this. So I tried it out, but to be fair, that's how it starts. But it doesn't really sound like those songs.
There you go. Kill the magic.
Use elements. Yeah.
Just kill the magic, mate. Right. Lasting comments. If you've had a giggle, learned something, generally just enjoyed the chat, and there's been a bit of it, please do rate, review, share, and by all means do get in touch. You know, all those points of social proofing, they go a long way to convincing other idiots out there that we're worth a listen. Continue to use your thumbs and jump on and give us a few lovely testimonials and lots of stars. And if you haven't already, give us a follow on the socials. Twitter, TikTok, Insta, Idiots of F1, where we continue to pump out lots of shit. For interest's sake...
I get to sue the podcast for playing my music or something, so I get paid for this?
No, you've already given permission for us to use it. Yeah, it's like you going out and saying publicly via the podcast, like Oscar Piastri, you're legally bounded. For interest's sake, we'll be back again next week to review all things Monza and chat everything else in between. But until then, as always, you idiots, we are your idiots in racing. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Stick around for some Diggy love. See ya. Bye.
Bye.